everyone. Thank you so much for coming to our first lecture of the semester. We are so excited that we are joined for this lecture by our Young Southeast Asian Leaders Initiative Fellows. These are 21 amazing young leaders from Southeast Asia who are here in the United States on a 5-week program to study natural resource management and global environmental issues. They have worked incredibly hard to be here. It was a very competitive process that chose them. They have been working incredibly hard here. We have been keeping them very busy from early in the morning until late at night, having the chance to learn from many of the wonderful people doing work here in environmental issues and natural resource management, but we also really enjoy the chance for them to share their own perspectives and their own experiences in their country. So I will turn it over to our wonderful moderator, Mai from Thailand, in just a moment. Okay. But before I do, just a few quick notes. Today's lecture is recorded by the Missoula Community Access Television through one of their media access grants. We are very grateful to have them here, and we're very grateful that this lecture will be available online in a couple of weeks. In addition, if you are interested in future lectures and programs, please do sign up for our email list. We will have many more lectures coming up this semester. Our next one will be on the Japan Exchange and Teaching Program, or JET to Japan.
Okay, สวัสดีค่ะ Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mai, Miss Thailand Universe 2018. No, I'm just kidding. I'm from Thailand, but where I'm from is very close to Laos, so I kind of can speak Laos and Thai at the same time. Okay, I'm so appreciate to see you guys to be here and listen to us. Okay, I don't want to steal your time. Okay, let's begin with introducing our keynote speakers over here. Yeah, start with you, Anna.
Okay, so hello everybody. My name is Aina. I'm from Indonesia. Currently, I'm a final year nursing student at Universitas Indonesia. Nice to meet you all.
Okay. Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon. My name is Muhammad Aidil bin Ali. I'm from Malaysia. I'm a chemical engineering student currently in my 4th year, and I'm from Malaysia.
Hello, Megalaba, it's me. Hello, it's Myanmar. I'm from Myanmar. My name is Aki. I graduated in history. Yeah, thank you. Nice to meet you all.
Okay, so you prepare something to share with us, right? Okay, okay, let's start.
Okay. So thank you so much, Mai, for being a very good moderator. So I'm here. I would like to share my concern about, because in here we are as an environmental student fellows. So I would like, even though I'm a nursing student, but I have a concern in environmental issues. So before I'm going to my problem back then in my country, I would like to introduce my country. I'm from Indonesia. It's one of the country on Southeast Asia. It is the largest country in Southeast Asia. You can see here, we are the biggest archipelago country in the world. So we have 17,000 islands, and also we have 261 million people, and we have so many ethnic groups, and also maybe some of you interested in volcanoes because we're talking about environmental here. And we also the Coral Triangle country. So this glance about my country. It is very beautiful country with those diversity, but we have some kind of problem, especially in here. Oh, we have 1 million people. We have 55 million people actually like still do open defecation. So maybe some of you is not really know about open defecation. Open defecation is someone that doing defecation not in the toilet, but they prefer to defecate it in the river or in the bushes, and it not really it not just causes the environmental issues, but also causes the health problem. Because I'm a nursing student, I'm really concerned about health problem related to the open defecation itself. So also we are the second highest country that doing open defecation in the country, in the world. I mean, we cannot see here, but I would like to tell you that we have more than 100,000 children that died every day, most of diarrhea or any other waterborne diseases. So I already concerned about these issues about 2 years. I worked on this project since 2016, and we observed what is the causes of the problem itself. We found these causes. First is, of course, the lack of facility. The second is the bad governance and bad prioritization. But the most problem is about the lack of awareness of the society itself, because we see that most of the people in there is in the rural area who's still doing identification, but some of them they have a proper house, sometimes they have a motorcycle, sometimes they have television, but they don't have any toilet in their home. So I think this problem is about the awareness. They don't know about the importance of the toilet itself, and they don't know about the dangers of doing identification. So I'm here as a YCL fellow. I would like to be more connect with the lecture and also share thought with the YCL fellow, with another Asian fellow, and also from the University of Montana student and the community itself. So to solve this problem, actually, I already made a project named MCKaku, or in Indonesia we say My Toilet. Especially we focuses on socializing and education for the children, because as we know that the reason is the lack of awareness itself. We already talked with the society why they still doing that. They say that we've done this for about 20-30 years and there's nothing happened. Diarrhea is something common in our society, but just diarrhea. So I observed that also in the schools that there is nothing about the sanitation education. So now we focus on sanitation education on especially elementary students. We would like to engage more with them, and we would like to increase their awareness about the sanitation since the very beginning of the age, because I believe that this habit should start from the early beginning of the age. So we say our method is sanitation education with school-led total sanitation. And the second is we collaborate with the local health provider in there, because most of the area that we work is in the rural area that has a very strong local government. And also we would like to collaboration with other sanitation-based organization. A few days ago, we just met the Project WET, which is stand for the Water Education for Teacher. We're really happy to see them because they're also concerned in education about sanitation to the teacher, because they believe if we educate teacher, we can educate student, and we can increase their awareness about sanitation. So as a nursing student, I am very concerned about this issue, and we know that this is a very huge problem if we don't solve this problem. Thank you so much.
Wow, that's wonderful. Do you have any questions for her? Yeah. Okay, I have a question. Okay, what did you find the most challenging things to solve the problem of sanitation in your country? Because last time that I went to Indonesia, I saw some company that connect the tube to the ocean, and they increase they release the poop and pee into the ocean, and the children play with that water. Yeah.
Okay, so it's also common in Indonesia that, so it also still common in Indonesia that directly the wastewater going to the ocean or going to the river itself. The first thing is maybe about we see that the lack of governance, the bad of governance itself, but also about the awareness as well. I mean, like, if the people already know the impact of that, we can solve this problem. But in my case, it's like about the awareness.
I see that.
Yeah.
Thank you for your answer. Do you have any suggestion towards solving this problem? Anyone? Sure.
Maybe at the end we can come back to
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, please welcome the next keynote speaker. I do.
All right.
Are you ready?
All right. So before I go on any further, I would like to ask permission from Aina to use the first part of her slide because I forgot to include the map in my slide. So, you know. All right. So hello everyone. My name is Aidil and I'm from Malaysia. And as you guys can see in the map, so Malaysia is actually around here, right? So these are the only parts of Malaysia. And if I'm not mistaken, Malaysia is like the 4th or the 5th smallest country in the Southeast Asia. So we are relatively small to compare with the rest of the countries. But we are still doing good nonetheless. So actually I came here with a different intention. I came here because I wanted to learn more about the management of bodies of water in Malaysia because we have contaminated rivers, we have contaminated lakes, and even seas and whatnot. But then when I came here, granted the opportunity for me to like go to the reservations for the Native Americans and whatnot, makes me realize that please forgive me if this sounds a bit offensive, but I came to realize after a few weeks being with my fellow friends from the Southeast Asian countries, and I figured out that actually Malaysia is quite developed, it's relatively more developed, and therefore wastewater management or maybe like management of bodies of water is not something that I should put greater priority on, and therefore I have shifted my focus from that into the rights of the indigenous community in Malaysia, particularly the one group of people that we call the Orang Asli. So, yeah, okay. There it is. Okay, cool. So, Orang Asli, the Aboriginal people of Malaysia. So, in order for us to really understand the position of the Orang Asli in Malaysia, first we have to look at the Malaysian demography. So we have two kinds of people. We have the Bumiputra, or the natives of Malaysia, and also we have the non-Bumiputra. And the Bumiputra are the majority of Malaysia, and the non-Bumiputra are the minority. And if we look at the non-Bumiputra, we have the Chinese, which are the bigger part of the non-Bumiputra, the Indians, which constitutes around 22.44%, and the rest are the other ethnicities, like for example the Punjabis, the Eurasians, and whatnot. So why do we have Chinese and Indian in Malaysia? Because back then, during the times of colonialism, particularly during the time of British, they brought in a lot of like labor from the great mainland of China and also from India, and the moment when they have lived there, towards independence, these people have been identified as the people of Malaysia, and therefore they have lived there, and they identify themselves as the Malaysian Chinese and also Malaysian Indian. But when we are looking at the Bumiputra, so we have 79.45% of them as Malay. They identify themselves as Malay, and also the other Bumiputras. And the other Bumiputras is the part where we have to really look at. Because who are the other Bumiputras in Malaysia? They are the non-Malay indigenous people. In Peninsular Malaysia, they are known as the Orang Asli. In Sarawak, they are known as the Dayak. For example, Iban, Bidayuh, etc. Like my friend here, Florina, she is actually an Iban. And also in Sabah, they are known as the Kadazan, where we have Kadazan Dusun, Bajau, etc. A very fun fact here, the most recent mankind that has evolved genetically is actually the Bajau Laut people, because they lived in the seas for far too long, that their body is actually adapted to that, and they have bigger lung, and also their muscle lines are also streamlined, so that they are more adapted to the sea than they do in the land. So let's look at the hierarchy of privilege. So here's the basic idea. The Bumbiputras will always have more privilege than the non-Bumiputra. And if we break down this even further, when we are looking at the hierarchy of privilege among the Bumiputra, the Malays are always the ones who will have the most privilege there. We have this one thing that is called Malay rights and also Malay privilege, which is the reason why we have Malay supremacy, which is like the Malaysian equivalent of white supremacy. And then the next one is the Sabah and the Sarawak indigenous, and the ones who have the least privilege are the Orang Asli. And then among the non-Bumiputras, the Chinese are the most privileged ones, because back then when the British brought them in, they were the ones who were located at the towns. They have more dominance and also control over the mining industry, and therefore they are inherently rich, and their richness is generational, and they were brought further up until today. And then the Indians and the others, and then the others and the Indians, it is actually always like that because it is interrelated. Sometimes the Indians have more than the others, and the others have more than the Indians, vice versa. So if we incorporate these two together, so this is how it looks like in Malaysia when it comes to privilege. The Malays are always the ones with the most privilege, and the Orang Asli, even though they are part of the Bumi Putra, which is supposed to have more privilege than the rest, they are at the bottom, right? So where am I in the hierarchy of privilege? I am at the apex. Why? Because first, I am a cis male, and in a world that we know as this is a man's world and a patriarchal society that we live in, I will always have the most privilege, and I am a Malay, and because of the Malay supremacy and Malay rights, I always have the, the privilege, and also I'm a Muslim, and since Islam is the dominant religion in Malaysia, I will always get the most privilege. And you know, like, I'm a low-class cis male Malay Muslim because I'm from a poor family, but even being a low class, even though among my people and also among my group, I'm the least privileged, I'm still more privileged than the rest of the people in the country who are not necessarily a part of my group. So let's talk about the Orang Asli. Like there are a lot of things here, you know, like, but then here's the thing: the Orang Asli is you know, declining in number at a very alarming rate. We have 150,000 of them in 2018, making up of only 0.48% of the whole Malaysian, Malaysian population. So and they are generally divided into Negrito, Senoi, and Proto-Malay. So the Negrito and Senoi are the people who came from Cambodia, from Vietnam, Myanmar, and whatnot. And the Proto-Malays are the real people of the peninsula. So they are the other half of the Malay ancestors, and the other half are either from Thailand or Indonesia. So in a way, when we look at the geographical location, since Malaysia is actually at the center of the Southeast Asia, we are actually the center of, you know, a clash of a lot of cultures, and that is the reason why a lot of our culture is the same with that of Indonesian and also in the Thais, etc. So these are the kinds of oppression of the Orang Asli, where the main existing legislation dealing with the Orang Asli is too weak to protect the Orang Asli. Very few Orang Asli have ownership of land, and the acts, they just provide usufructuary rights or rights to use land and its resources, and less than 20% of Orang Asli villages in Malaysia are gazetted. Meaning to say that in the United States of America, you guys do have reservation for the Native Americans. In Malaysia, we do, but we just gazette them by virtue of giving them the land. But because of our governance, because the way our governance that is functioning is not in the same way how in the United States of America does, and because there is such centralization of power that is so big to the higher part of the governance, at any time they can just take away that gazetting and also the reservation, and they can just take that land away from the Orang Asli from Malaysia. So where do I actually relate all this stuff here in with the things that I have learned in YCLE, right? Because when I came to YCLE, I have learned a lot about the indigenous community, and the things that I see, the kind of opportunities and also rights provided and afforded to the indigenous community here should be the ones that should be afforded to the people, to the indigenous community in Malaysia as well. And these are the kind of things that I'm going to pursue later in the future. And also, the Orang Asli have less legal protection of their ancestral lands than the indigenous populations in Sabah, Sarawak, because they can de-gazette any reserve land at any time. So like, you know, there's a lot of things to read, but probably like later we can talk about it. And then, yeah, indigenous women are particularly vulnerable to land encroachment due to traditional patriarchal structure, which may exclude them from individual land rights. So these are the examples. This is the most recent thing that is happening. So there is this one state in Malaysia that is called the state of Kelantan, which is currently governed by an Islamist government. So they built a human barricade and also like a physical barricade to stop logging company from coming in, but what they did is they just violated into the land and they just hit the barricade as if it was nothing at all, because they felt like, first and foremost, the Orang Asli doesn't have any right, and if you want to come in and want to take the resources from these people, we can, because at the end of the day, they are just the Orang Asli and they belong at the lowest part of the hierarchy. And I think it is time for us to actually listen to their voice, because their number is declining because of a lot of reasons, and this is one of them, right? So yeah, that is my presentation. Thank you.
I really appreciate how you care for your people, and this is so wonderful. Do you have any questions for him? Okay, Dina.
So you mentioned you went to the Flathead Indian Reservation. Can you talk about one specific thing that impacted you during your visit there?
Right. So actually, we have this one talk with Mr. Michael about the transboundary agreement controversy, where they used a lot of element. Where they use a lot of element to pressure the Canadian government to comply with the United States, particularly the part of Montana, which requires them to respect our land as much as we want to respect their land. And they use a lot of tools, like for example, tools of lobbying, pressure, and means to gain traction. For example, they use the Olympics and whatnot. So I think like these are the kind of stuff that we can do in Malaysia, because you know, the government in Malaysia, even though we are a democracy, we are inherently autocratic by nature because of that centralization of power that is so much at the top, they don't necessarily listen to the people. Nowadays, we have seen a lot of democracy at its strongest in Malaysia. Like for example, in the previous election, we have finally managed to change our government, and we think that it is a new era for us. But it is not enough, because at the end of the day, if we cannot make them listen to us in a proper way, then probably we can embarrass them in a global scale, or probably if we cannot attack the government, then we can attack these companies that come in. Like for example, we boycott them, and we use social media awareness. And I personally myself, because so the reason why I am here is because I want to get directly involved in the politics. Maybe I want to be in the ministry later, if God wills. So that is actually the things that I learn here is something that I'm going to apply in the future. Maybe if I get to be a minister, like one of the alumni of YCD. Yeah, all right.
Okay, thank you so much, Ideals. The next keynote speaker is, can you introduce yourself and the topic that you're going to give today?
Yes, my name is Aki from Myanmar. We say Megalaba, but we don't do that much. We just say Megalaba.
Galaba.
Yes. I use this. I'm not really good in the technology, so yes, I need help. Just imagine that you are going to eat very spicy curry. Because Myanmar, I'm going to tell you a lot the problems in my country. So some people tell me that if you put too much chili in your curry, people don't want to eat there. But please. That is my country, Myanmar. Yeah, that is the place where I'm from. Our country, Myanmar, like my friend Pin told before, we are a very diverse country. We have over 135 different ethnic groups. And that the things that make us very, very different from our friends here is we have the longest civil war in the world. Started in 1949, still now, we have over 28 different ethnic armed groups. And I'm the minority. So my current people, they are first group who start to fight against the government. So they target us. The place where the fighting happened, they call this black zone. I'm from the black zone, no school, no hospital. Yes, I used to work for Burmese soldier as a forced labor when I was a kid. Yes, that is my background. Here I would like to tell you all about the harmful development that lead to huge human rights violation and damage the environment in my country. Myanmar, we are very rich in natural resources. We have land, sea, coal, silver, we have everything. And our government believes that exploiting natural resources is the best way to develop the country. Billions of dollars come from selling the gas, from selling the electricity from hydropower, doing the coal mine. That is the major income that comes from our country. But the problem is loss of forests, climate change, and waste management are the key challenges that we are facing right now. I want to show. Sorry. Yes. I want to show you these pictures. That is we call jade mining in Kachin State, and another one is Lebanon compact mine. It is compact mine. So these two are the best examples of human rights violation and damages the environment. In 2014, Global Witness estimates that from this mining, jade mining, they made $31 billion. It's equal to 48% of the country GDP. And therefore, the 6 times government spend on the healthcare services. But we don't know where is the money go. Who take their money? Who control these areas? And there are 10,000s of people displaced from that jade mining. And hundreds of people died every year because of the landslide for this mining. And here, the villagers, when they try to protest their land, they be shot dead. Yes. And another thing, we are going to face a huge problems. Another problem is we can't dam. We have very, very beautiful rivers flows from Tibet to flow through Myanmar to the Pacific. We call Selwis rivers. Mostly people know about the Mekong rivers, but they don't know much about Selwis river. We have many diverse, steep minority peoples along these rivers. Their life is directly dependent on these rivers. They are doing fishing. They are growing besides the rivers. But this proposed dam is coming to the river. So if the dam is built, it will displace millions of minority people and their life will be directly destroyed by this dam. In 2015, yes, we have one opposition parties in our country. We call NLD. It means National League for Democracy. They won election, and we minority believe their discrimination will end. But prevent this kind of harmful project is continuous without free, prior, informed, and conscious process. Sorry. And as a young people, I do believe that we can make a change in my communities, in my countries. That is why I'm here. I'm very glad to be here. I learned more about the environmental problems and environmental protection here. It makes me feel, very, I feel like warm, and that it makes me feel like, no, not only in your areas. I listen to my friends, we have the problems in their country. You are not alone. Yes, so I come here to tell you all about the things that happening in my country. That is the main point that I'm here. The second thing is, in my experience, I need more skill to work on the environmental protection and human rights issue. So I'm here, and I listen to my friends. They are teachers. I learn from them a lot. Yes, and I also thanks to the organizers, the people who offered me the opportunities to be here. Yes, thank you.
A very honest speech ever. I mean, yeah, and thank you for the caring that you have for your people. Yeah, and do you have any questions for him? Anyone?
And maybe you could share some about your experience going to Switzerland, why you were selected, and who else was there.
In 2016, I do the research about mining in my areas. There is a proposed gold mining over 73,000 acres in my areas, but nobody known about that. And it is very sensitive, to work on environmental issue, to be the environmental. How do I say that? I should not say the activist, but I will say that here. Yes, it is very sensitive. But the time when I'm doing my research, there is an old man that I met. And there I interviewed him, and then I asked him a lot about the gold miners, and then he explained to me a lot. He gave me a lot the information about the gold mining, and then one thing he asked me, what can you do for me for this gold mining? And then I cannot do anything. I promise him that I will go and I will tell your story. I will let the people know. And then, the promise that I give him, I keep it. I give a promise to the old man. So in Swiss law, we have a program called Minority People. If you are interested in that program, you can apply and I can help you for that. But you must be the minority people, so you will be able to select. And because in 2016, I finished school in Thailand. We call Ultra International School. I have background working on the environment, and they need somebody from Myanmar who work on the environment because they know that in Myanmar a lot of human rights violations happen, especially in the minorities areas. So I was being selected for that, and I'm very lucky to present about my ideas, and I delivered a statement in UN. Yes, and I have got a chance to meet with the UN Human Rights High Commissioner, Zuri Hussein, there. Yes.
Wow, thank you so much. Aki, I have one question for you.
Yes.
Okay, how can you apply the experience and knowledge from here wisely to help improve your community?
The first title, as mentioned before here, is I miss skill development. You know, I have very lack of skill because I'm graduated in history, and there I completely changed my mind to work on this issue because I do think that it is very, very important, and that we need people, more and more people to work on this. I first thing that I came here, I have listened to some people that they are creating the blog, they are doing the campaign. Yes, like those kind of things is very, very interesting for me. And then I think I will definitely copy that and then try to apply this as much as I can do when I'm back to my country.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I have a question. I have a question to Adil and also to Aki, but first to Adil. So like as a Malay for you, so do you like still think like history is not happening in Malay as well for the other ethnic people? Like the Malay supremacy, like it still exists.
Okay, so as a Malay, I definitely think that Malay supremacy should go away, because Malaysia is very weird in a sense where the reason why we have Malay supremacy to begin with is because we identify ourselves as the first people of Malaysia when truly it is actually the orang asli. And secondly, we have the affirmative action that is for the majority, not for the minority. So it is actually quite weird in Malaysia. And because of that, we feel like we are the most entitled people in that country, and our entitlement comes at a cost. For example, a Malay kid who was just done with his SPM, which is actually the equivalent of SAT in the United States or probably GCSE in the United Kingdom, can go to the university, but a Chinese or an Indian who scored even better than him or her cannot, because there is a quota that is so big for the Malay community that it eats up the spots for the non-Chinese, for the non-Malays and whatnot. And secondly, and the most importantly, we understand why do we have this affirmative action to begin with? Because back then, when the colonials came, they brought the Chinese at the city part, and the Malays, they put us at the villages and whatnot, and we were relatively more economically disadvantaged to compare with the other ethnicities. But 60-something years have passed. I don't remember 1957, 2018, probably around 61 years have passed since our independence, and Malays have already been established. We are economically established. We do have Malays who are poor, but we are relatively much better than how we were back then. And the existence of this affirmative action and also Malay rights right now is a cancerous part of our society more than it is there to help us. So to answer your question, I think it is time for it to go away, because as long as it is still there, then the Chinese and also the Indians are not going to feel as if they belong to the country, and we are still and especially the extreme Malays are still going to use the narratives like, you are the comers of our country, you are the foreigners of our country, you should just go away. If you are not happy here, then you should go back to the mainland China. If you are not happy here, then you should go back to the mainland India. And personally, I think the reason why I highlighted that I was a poor Malay is because until I entered university, I did not know about the existence of Malay rights, because I was so poor and I grew up in a predominantly Indian and Chinese community, and I did not get any help by virtue of being Malay. There was no aid given to me because I'm a Malay or whatnot. And then when I entered my university, which is actually established for the Malays, only then I realized that there is actually such thing as Malay rights. So I wondered, if there is a Malay rights, why am I poor? And if I can do this, then I believe all other Malay people in Malaysia also can do it, because it is just a matter of you having to go out of your comfort zone, because the moment when all the safety net is gone, only then you will work hard for your own survival. Yeah, so that's my answer.
Yeah, I think for me, and I think like for most people, they would be so interested to hear about how did you grow up in the black zone. Like you just mentioned about the forced labor, so can you tell us more about
Yes, you know, in black zone, in my home, I will just give you a picture. We dig a hole under in my home when my ethnic army, my current army come and the Burmese soldier come, and they fight. We just storm in the hole and just hide. And then sometimes we go to school, and the Burmese armies, they came and then, you know, they fire, the girl, and then we have to run. Sometimes you sleep at night and then they just fire the missile, and then you have to wake up and run. And some night you have to pack your clothes ready in your bag, because you don't know they will come now or tomorrow when they will burn your village. The villages around my village, all the villages were burned, but only one of my village left. We don't know why they don't burn our village. They have burned the villages around my village over 3 times, and there are over 20 villages is already completely destroyed. We have thousands and thousands of Korean refugees in Thai and Myanmar border, because some people, they are very afraid, because when the soldiers come, Burmese soldiers come, they arrest the men for the forced labor. So when they don't see the men, they arrest some more men, but not in my village. And there they use lots of the light mine over there. And there, you know, some village, almost the whole villagers, the men, they lost their leg, damaged by the landmine. It's very bad. And then they took our food. So we have to go back to them and take back our food daily. That is the food that we grow by ourselves. And then you are not allowed to get any medicine. And you know, so we have very high rate of the mortality, mother and baby death, because we don't have medicine. If they saw you keep medicine in your home, they will arrest you and, you know, put you in jail. We are not allowed to use any electric thing like radios or you know, the light we use with the battery. If you see you use the battery, they will shot dead to the place where they saw you. Yes. It's too hard. Yeah.
Any questions, please?
This will have to unfortunately be our final question since we are almost out of time.
Hi, Andy. I want to ask you, can you tell me how sensitive people talk about the environmental issue in your country? And if you are the person going to talk about the environmental issue in your country, is it safe for your life and your family?
I will say completely no, not safe, because you know, many people, I have seen many people already have been shot dead, because they are trying to, you know, even not even the activists, even the people who protect their own land, they be shot dead. So for example, like activists, two months ago, there was an activist, Korean activist, shot dead on the way. We don't know who did there, because he is going to talk about the dam, purple dance. He active in that dam. So he was shot dead by the Burmese military. But the Burmese military don't commit that they did there. And there we have another example in another part also. We the same like that. So it's too sensitive. So I have to be very careful about that. But we do need people to talk about the truth. If we don't talk about the truth, who will know the truth then? We need to brave people.
Yes, yes.
I want to thank our our wonderful speakers and our moderator. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. I also want to thank the U.S. Department of State and the Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs, who are the sponsors of the Young Southeast Asian Leaders Initiative, and to everyone who came today and joined us for this lecture.